So I did a video about mimic TikToks, and that thing completely blew up. As happy as I am that it blew up, it's unfortunately one of my least favorite videos I've made. I personally just really wasn't happy with how it came out. I didn't really care for the Reddit story segment I did, and looking back, I wish I didn't add that, but I had to get a video out, and it, reached the 8-minute mark somehow. But I threw the idea out there that I wanted to make a video talking about different types of mimics, and a lot of people who clicked on that mimic video thought I was either going to talk about Vita Carnis or some mimic from whatever source of media. I mean, the amount of comments I've gotten on that video asking me if it's about the Vita Carnis mimic is absurd.
Is this about the Vita Carnis mimic? Is he talking about the Vita Carnis mimic?
Did you watch the video? Simply watching the video will answer your question on whether or not I was talking about the Vita Carnis mimic. The answer's no. Today, I'm going to be taking a look at mimics from across the internet and ranking them on a tier list by their designs. Garrett! Since so many of you would not shut up about Vita Carnis in the comments of my previous mimic video, let's start with Vita Carnis. Let's make some people happy today, shall we?
Is this Vita Carnis he talking about? Did you watch the f***ing video?
This is Trucidatum Carnis. Commonly referred to as a mimic and formerly referred to as a butcher, is the fourth member of the Carnis family and the third product of the craw. The mimic is also the first hostile species in the family. Mimics are often found near heavily populated areas around the world because human flesh is their primary food source when they reach maturity. The mimic is a bipedal creature with uncanny similarities to humanoid anatomy. They greatly resemble humans without skin and with added exaggerated features. These features include longer arms and thin fingers with no fingernails, hunched posture with a duck-footed stance, flat noses, large, dark, sunken eyes, clammy skin, a mouthful of teeth forming a smile. This does not indicate happiness, it is simply the mimic's facial structure. Mimics are highly efficient hunters with certain behaviors when they aren't on the hunt. A mimic will usually disguise themselves as humans using items of clothing to stay in society. Typically, they do this when on the lookout for for possible victims. Okay, awesome. Now let's take a look and rank the designs of each mimic life stage, starting with juvenile. First thing I thought of is a dead cat corpse. That sounds really dark, but I have an explanation for that. I was getting in my car to leave the house, and I see in the backyard a bunch of turkey vultures, and they're hovering over a dead cat. And this is kind of what the cat's corpse looked like as it was being devoured by the vultures. That's dark as hell. I'm sorry, but it's the truth. That's what it looked like. I would say this design is fairly realistic. It looks like an average nighttime animal you would see when taking out the trash or something. And I feel like if mimics were an actual animal with actual, science behind them, if it was real, then it evolved to look like and mimic an animal. So that's... Maybe I'm thinking too much about it, but that's a pretty good design. I'm gonna put that in decent stuff. That's pretty nice. And, older juvenile isn't really that much different, but its smile is more prominent. I would say this probably belongs on the same tier because it's not that much different. Now, the adult mimic. Lord have mercy. That's freaky. When I was searching up Vita Carnis, when everyone was yelling it at me in the comments section, this was the first image I saw. And by the way, I have yet to actually watch Vita Carnis. Maybe I'll do it at some point. I don't know. I'm not really a big fan of analog horror, though. Something in my eye. Adult Vita Carnis mimic. I would say good stuff. I think designs that resemble humans, but there's obviously something off about it, are the best. It's these type of designs where it's like, if you're sitting in the dark, you know how your mind just starts making stuff up? Almost like a hallucination, but not quite a hallucination. Like, you'll start imagining faces in the dark. This is kind of what that reminds me of. It's like what my mind would make up when looking in the dark for too long. Same goes for the elder mimic, I think. I don't know. You know what? I think I might like the elder mimic a little bit more. I'm gonna keep the elder mimic next to the adult mimic on the good stuff tier for now. Maybe I'll move it up later if I think about it. Next up, Garrett, what is it? SCP-939. SCP-939, also known as With Many Voices, are a hostile species in the SCP Foundation series. They are quadrupedal monsters who lack eyes and several vital organs and hunt various animals, including humans, by luring through Get your act together, Jaden. Read that again. Garrett, stop distracting me. By luring through voice mimicry. SCP-939 are pack-based predators covered in sensitive organs and spines. They lack many vital organs, yet live without the need for them. They do not possess digestive systems and show no apparent need to feed. Despite the lack of these systems, SCP-939 still feed and are able to give birth to live young. SCP-939 hunt by mimicking the sound of human voices, usually the voices of prior victims. They can also mimic other consumed creatures as well. SCP-939 use the voices to cry out for help or sound in distress to lure prey to them, then kill the victim with a single bite to the neck or head. Was that the bite of 87? Okay, so this design looks like a dinosaur. Kinda messed with it a little bit. This black and white photo, dude. Oh my god, the aura. SCP-939 has more aura in black and white than in color, in my opinion. It kind of looks like the juvenile Vita Carnis mimic a little bit, doesn't it? Oh, look. Hot dog. It is similar to the juvenile Vita Carnis mimic, so I think because of that, I'm gonna have to put it on the same level as the juvenile Vita Carnis mimic. I don't know. At the end of this tier list, I might look at this again and reorganize some things. Who knows? Next up on the leaderboard, Siren Head. Yes, technically Siren Head is a mimic. He has mimic qualities. Siren Head, who is sometimes called the Lamp Head, I have never heard anyone call him Lamphead before. That's new. Is one of the main antagonists of the Trevor Henderson mythos. It is a hostile cryptid and urban legend created by the Canadian horror artist Trevor Henderson. True to its name, Siren Head speakers can play various types of loud noises, typically air raid sirens, garbled music, or emergency broadcasts. Though it can also mimic animal noises and voices from people it has heard, usually to lure human victims. Trevor Henderson also goes on to explain that Siren Head might be packed up with a loose cassette tape and a tape recorder incorporated in its body. This may be the explanation of how Siren Head captures the sounds of its victims and the surrounding sounds which Siren Head replays as bait. I love Siren Head, man. It's such a unique creature. I mean, a creature that's evolved to have built-in loudspeakers to lure in its prey. That's pretty badass. I don't think you're gonna see anything like it. So I'm gonna put Siren Head in W Mimic tier. That is certainly a W Mimic right there. You disagree with everything I say, Garrett. Like, do you oppose my opinions just to be different? Next up, the Five Nights at Freddy's Mimic. When the FNAF Mimic meme started blowing up, I got a random surge of comments on that Mimic video I made, making Edwin made the mimic jokes. And if I'm being completely honest with you, I don't know if I'm mentally prepared for the amount of Edwin mimic jokes I'm gonna be receiving in the comments of this video. Where'd the sun go? That just messed up my lighting. Anyway, the Mimic is the central antagonist of the Five Nights at Freddy's cooperative series, and the tales of the... Five Nights at Freddy's has gotten so complicated, and the Tales from the Pizzaplex series. Mimic also appears as a secondary antagonist in the Ruin DLC for Security Breach. It will have a major titular role in Five Nights at Freddy's Secret of the Mimic. The Mimic officially debuted as an experimental artificial intelligence in the late 70s. It was created by Edwin Murray. Shut up. Don't talk. To copy any movement it saw and care for his son, David Murray. Shut up! Don't say anything. Whilst Edwin... Shut up! Do not say it. Worked. Soon after David tragically gets hit by a white van.
I'm running out on the road. There is a car, and it is going to hit me.
Don't make the joke! Edwin beats Mimic using a metal pipe out of pure grief and inadvertently infects it with his agony, making it immensely violent and hostile. Ever since then, Mimic has been violently murdering people in gruesome ways. However, after a construction worker by the name of Jill, plugged his laptop into the endoskeleton and instructed it to remove the limbs and heads of the remaining endoskeletons at Freddy Fazbear's Pizza Place, Mimic began violently tearing off the limbs and heads of nearly every construction worker. Lord have mercy! That is a lot that happened right there. Look, I want to be into Five Nights at Freddy's, okay? I've tried. It's so overwhelming. That being said, I will be seated day one for the Five Nights at Freddy's movie too, so. Anyway, let's rank the design. Endoskeleton design.
I mean, it's alright, like...
I don't really know, like, what to say about it. It's just, like, yeah, it exists. It's okay. I will say, I like its costume. I like its costume design. It looks like an animatronic from a children's, like, entertainment place. It looks like an abandoned animatronic. And I like that. So, I'm gonna put it a tier above the endoskeleton design, I think. I think decent stuff. Next up, Roblox.
The Mimic.
Now, this one has quite a few designs, so we gotta lock in for this one. The Four Beasts are a quartet of monstrous and demonic entities who were created by evil God to unleash chaos and cause destruction all around the world. They were then sealed by Kusunoki Masashige. However, they escaped from their cages centuries later to destroy and corrupt the earth. They are the main antagonists of the game. Let's start with the first beast, Kintoru. Known as the accursed witch and an evil being, she was one of the four beasts that rampaged across the earth as the Beast of Control, and was also the entity responsible for Yasuo's cursed bloodline, causing both of them to experience peculiar visions throughout their journeys. Kintoru has a bunch of different powers and abilities, but the ones that are closest to mimic qualities are mimicry. Kintoru can recreate an exact copy of the world into a twisted realm, also known as a pocket dimension, filled with unpredictable monsters lurking in the darkness. Shapeshifting. Kintoru can shapeshift into many different kinds of forms. According to the Girl and the Witch, Kintoru took an appearance to look similar to Hayachi in Chapter 3. She became a centipede referred to as Umakade, and in the final chapter, she takes the form of a spider named Saigomo. Lord have mercy. It is confirmed that she can shapeshift into many other forms, and the ones mentioned above. Control. Kintoru can control her victims after cursing them and transforming them into monsters. Not bad, not bad. Okay, let's see what the designs are like here. Her witch design kind of just looks like an average ghostly pale woman with long black hair. Nothing incredible about it, in my opinion. Now for her Umakade form, not bad. Decent stuff. It's better than her witch form, in my opinion. Her Saigomo form, see, I don't know what to think about these designs. They're all pretty much just the same head on different bodies. I guess I'll put this form on decent stuff. And her centipede form, oh, it's cocoon, okay. Her cocoon form. I mean, it's alright, I guess. Next beast, Enzukai. It is the beast of jealousy and is one of the four beasts who rampaged across the earth before it, and the other beasts were sealed by I'm done pronouncing this shit. He also has mimic-like powers and abilities, such as transformation and mimicry, which actually, mimicry is an ability among all four of the beasts, including Enzukai. It is able to mimic any parts of this reality it wishes and recreate it in its pocket dimension. So, all four of the beasts have mimicry power. Good, so I don't have to read that every time. Chapter 1, it's fine. Just like an average devil-looking guy. It's fine. Chapter 2 is literally just that, but with his hair up. I'm actually, like, not messing with his Chapter 2 design at all. You know what? I think it might be the first L Mimic. I'm feeling a light 0 to not good on that one. Chapter 3 design, okay. It's not bad like Chapter 2, but I think it's just alright still. I mess with his Chapter 3 transformation design. That's pretty cool. He looks like a badass here, I think. He looks like he's in a rock band. I'll put him in decent stuff. Next beast, Yuma. She's one of the four beasts that rampaged across the earth, being known as the Beast of Rebirth. She also fought Kusunoki alongside Kintoru, Enzukai, and Netamo. She also has the ability of transformation, and as I've stated, all four beasts have the power of mimicry. She's alright. Another creepy, pale lady with long black hair. It's nothing special. Fine. The fourth and final beast, Netamo. He's one of the four beasts that rampaged across the earth, being known as the Beast of Rage. He also fought Kusunoki alongside Kintoru, Enzukai, and I need to get off this Roblox shit. I'm done with this. His powers, you already know his powers, transformation and mimicry. His design is alright, it's fine. I don't really care that much. Next up, Escape the Backrooms. Skinwalker. I'm sorry, Skin Stealer, not Skinwalker. I can't do anything right. Garrett, why didn't you correct me the first time? Whatever, Garrett. The Skin Stealer is an entity in Escape the Backrooms. It appears to be a gray humanoid. Skin Stealers can talk when close to make them seem normal. They can say 3 things, which include,
hello? Excuse me? Hey!
I don't know why I said it like that. to get players' attention and to lure them into thinking they are another player. Do not be fooled. You can detect a skin stealer by the talking they do. They also stand out and have glowing eyes when not disguised, making it easy to see them from long distances in the dark. If you see a small white dot high up that is moving, that is a skin stealer. Now, it can disguise itself in a hazmat suit in the game, I believe, which is sick. I'm debating on whether or not I want to put this in decent stuff or good stuff. I'm gonna put it in decent stuff. I think that's a good spot for it. Next up, the Infiltrator in Content Warning. The Infiltrator is a mimic entity that can be found in Content Warning. Okay, well, we already knew that. The Infiltrator pretty much appears nearby a lonely player with the appearance of a random teammate. They will always hold an old flashlight and can emote using Dance 101, whether or not if the original what? It can dance? Upon aggression, it will switch to an angry red face, and the old flashlight will emit a red light instead.
The person's spinning around.
Bio, is that you? That's Toast.
Hey, come here. But Toast.
Get away from that! Get away from that!
Listen,
oh, look at them hugging.
Spinning.
After successfully transforming, the Infiltrator will attempt to walk around you with its flashlight and jump around. However, when you least expect it, it will initiate its attack if it's close enough, or it will proceed to chase you down. This might be a hot take, and I might get called crazy for this, but this is good stuff tier. It's a nice, simple mimic design. It's not necessarily scary when looking at it, but if you run into it in the game thinking it's a real player and then you realize it's not a real player, that feeling is just kind of like, oh man, you know, you get that adrenaline. Mimics don't always need a horrifying or attempted horrifying design. Sometimes a simple design in the intent is all it takes to make a good mimic. Next up, the Lethal Company Mimic Mod. The Mimic Mod is a mod that takes advantage of the tendency of players to blindly use fire exits in the facility. This mod adds an entity that disguises itself as a fire exit within the facility. It can spawn on any moon, in any number, and is dangerous if you don't already know where the real fire exit is. The mimics disguise themselves as fire exits, but always have something off about them. The full body of these entities is hidden, and the only part of this monster you can see is its mouth. The mouth is an elliptical, vertically set maw with about 14 sharp fangs protruding from the gums. The monster's throat is shrouded in the darkness, and it is shown to have a long, whip-like tongue, which it ensnares its prey with to prevent them from escaping. The mimic's jaws are able to extend outwards. I think we're gonna put it in, I mean, it's alright. It reminds me of a chest mimic, and I'm not really a huge fan of chest mimic designs, which we are actually about to rank here in a second. It's alright. It's not my favorite design. Next up, Dark Souls, another game I haven't played. I'm not really a big gamer, I'm gonna be honest. I mean, call me a loser all you want, but at the end of the day, I'm not the one wasting my time playing video games. I'm wasting my time watching YouTube videos instead. Anyway, Dark Souls mimics. Mimics disguise themselves as chests waiting for victims to try to open them. When a player attempts to do so, mimics will proceed to chomp on them in a special grab move, causing heavy damage. If mimics are hurt before they can grab a player, they reveal a large, lolling tongue and lines of finger bone teeth, followed by the arms and legs. Once upright, they will begin to aggressively pursue their prey. Mimics are fast, tough, and deal high damage. They can easily kill the unprepared. In order to determine the difference between a mimic and a chest, the most direct visual cue one can get is by looking at the chain connected to the right side of the chest. If the chain is wrapped in a circle, then the chest is safe. If the chain is straightened out, then it's a mimic. If you're able to determine if a chest is a mimic or not, why would you get tricked by the mimic, right? Like, if there's a way to see if it's a mimic or not, how would you possibly get tricked? Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, can't put the blame on you. Fool me 3 times, f*** the peace signs, get the chopper, let it rain on you. You know what I'm saying? There are 2 variants. The Dark Souls variant, and the most commonly seen, is the standing one, where the mimic will engage in melee combat by performing punches and kicks, occasionally attempting to grab and chew on the player. The Dark Souls 2 variant, where the mimic will first turn around and drop on its back, crawling in a backward position on its 4 limbs, in a manner similar to a spider. I like how that sounds. I like that. So I'm gonna put the Dark Souls 1 mimic in It's Alright, and the Dark Souls 2 mimic in Decent Stuff. I like the spider mechanics of the second one. I think it looks much cooler and much creepier crawling around than it does just standing. Speaking of more chest mimics, Dungeons and Dragons is next up. The mimic is portrayed as being able to change its shape to disguise its body as an inanimate object, commonly a chest. The mimic uses a powerful adhesive that holds fast to creatures that touch it, allowing the mimic to beat its victims with its powerful pseudopods. The mimic was first introduced in the first edition Advanced Dungeons and Dragons game's original monster manual. The mimic has appeared in subsequent editions. Several variants of the creature have been introduced with a variety of abilities and sizes. So Dungeons and Dragons is where chest mimics first started appearing. Interesting stuff. That being said, still not very keen on the chest designs here. I might even go as far to put the first edition mimic design in L mimic. Yeah. Really not messing with that one. Where do I even want to put the rest of these? Like, they're not that much different from each other. Alright, you know what? I'm gonna put this is the movie mimic design. I'm gonna put the movie one in Decent Stuff. I think the movie design looks pretty good. It reminds me of like a Goosebumps episode, kinda. That being said, the ones from the Monster Manual, not a huge fan of them. I'm gonna put second edition, honestly, in L mimic. I'm sorry. And honestly, same for third edition, I think. Fourth edition has a little bit of Little Shop of Horrors going on there, so that's kind of cool. And fifth edition looks like the movie edition, but not as cool. So I'll put that one in It's Alright, because it's right below the movie version. Okay, let me just analyze everything that's going on here and make sure I'm happy with these placements. I am beyond okay with Siren Head being top tier for this. I love Siren Head. Nothing's going to change that. Both of the Vita Carnis mimics, I think they're in a good spot. I'm going to move the juvenile Vita Carnis mimics to good stuff. Same with SCP-939. I think they deserve to be up a tier. I'm satisfied with this. I think this is my final opinion on these mimic designs. Take a gander, everybody. I knew that ever since I saw the chest mimics that they were gonna be low on the list. I just never really cared for the chest designs that much. Before you go, please do me a favor. Leave a comment and like the video. It really helps support the channel and the algorithm. If you're new here, go check out my other videos. I think you might enjoy them. Hit that hit that juicy red subscribe button. If you are subscribed and you don't have notifications on, turn that shit on. According to some of my viewers, YouTube hasn't even been putting my new videos in their subscription feed, which is absolutely disgusting that they would even do that. And I have a feeling, I think it might be Garrett's fault somehow. So yeah, please turn on notifications so you don't miss an upload, okay? And my link tree is in the description of this video if you want to find my other social media pages. And hopefully I will see you in the next video, unless one of us unexpectedly dies. Thank you for watching.
Is this Vita Carnis?
I mean, it's alright, like, overrated as fuck, in my opinion. I mean, and you know what, though? That's typically how the bullshit goes, you feel me?